Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. We have an actual brothers war here. Jacob and Josh facing off against each other. Matchup that they have played countless times at home. Here it is on camera for the world to see. Death and Taxes versus Death Shadow. This is actual Death and Taxes, not the Yorion build. I'm not disputing the results that Yorion and Taxes has had, but I would argue they are very different decks. This is going to see Thalia much more often and has a more aggressive approach as well, seeing Stoneforge Mystic also a greater percentage of the games, allowing for Cauldra, which probably, if I had to pick a card, maybe the most important card in this matchup here. Cauldra is very difficult for Death Shadow to handle. Blue-Red Delver also doesn't love the card. But Death Shadow, on the other hand, gets its life total low voluntarily, really falling into getting punished by 5/5 first strike. Pretty much impossible to deal with card. You're not able to pressure Blue-Red Delver's life total. They can take a few hits from it, but Death Shadow is going to be ballasting its own life overboard, trying to make Death Shadow super efficient, a 1 mana up to a 12/12 potentially, just by getting down to 1 life. Now, Dothy Voidwalker is getting in there. Not going to be a great card versus Death and Taxes, more of a main deck consideration for the amount of Cephalid Breakfast that we have in the area. Also good versus Reanimator. See a Brainstorm response to a Wasteland. Josh not actually getting locked out. That is a dangerous thing that can happen. We also miss a little bit of fireworks there with the intro, with Aether Vial being stopped by a minor misstep. Also a great new addition for tempo strategies. Thalia has landed on Jacob's side. All of those cards much less efficient. Minor misstep at 2 mana, nowhere near as exciting, nor is Brainstorm, Ponder, any of the removal spells. Top of the screen, we do have a new Caracas. That is from the Journeys in Middle-earth, or Tales of Middle-earth. That's what it's called. I should know. There's a lot of Lord of the Rings products out there. Magic finally has one of its own. The original fantasy epic. Tolkien's work brought to life in Magic cards. A lot of what they did is really exciting. Had a great pre-release. Really enjoyed it. Wasn't super well attended by comparison. There was a huge tournament down in Baltimore. Happy to say our players did quite well. Shoutouts to Tony and Kenton for top 8ing. Micah also came in 9th. Frequents the store. Improved quite a bit. Really agonizing over this Brainstorm resolution. Going to be getting the card back on his turn. The Force of Will's Recruiter of the Guard. I suppose he could cast a Recruiter if he wants it later. Probably not going to come to that. This Dothy, that whole paragraph of text, not going to be super relevant here. It's mostly just going to be beating for 3. Very difficult to block mana Shadow. Not something Death and Tax is going to be able to contend with on the board. They're going to need a Swords to Plowshares or Solitude or Skyclave Apparition or Flicker Wisp. I mean, I suppose there's a lot of things they can do to screw with it. Death Shadow getting big. Oh no, it's just over. Just like that. The Recruiter of the Guard did get Force of Will, but Dress Down, just delivering a 1-hit KO. The Death Shadow losing all of that text just becomes a 13/13. So no blocks were declared, and Jacob just eats 16 to the teeth, putting Josh up a game over his younger brother here. Skipping over the shuffling. And it looks like a mulligan as well, Josh. Down to 6. Mother of Runes. Card is a problem. It'll shut off all of the removal. Josh, very familiar with how much of a problem that card can be. Fatally pushes it out of the way. Starting to lose life. Watery Grave. On to 17. A couple of more cards like that, and he'll be able to actually commit a Death Shadow to the board, but not until he's at 12 or less life. Esper Sentinel on the other side. Handful of problem cards right there. Thoughtsei's going to get the best of them, but there's 2 Recruiter of the Guards, Sanctum Prelate, and an Umao's Jite. This is rough. Worst case scenario, the Jite can just come down. Oh no, he draws his planes. Recruiter of the Guards going to be able to tutor up the best of what his deck has to offer here for the next turn. For Sentinel, not quite a Thalia. Are allowed to actually play the cards, but Death and Tax is happy to gain the card advantage. Not sure how I would build the deck right now. I'd have to put some real thought into it, but there are certainly a lot of interesting options. I believe that's actually why Yorion and Taxes is so popular, honestly. The ability to just jam 80 cards into your deck. You don't have to make the tough choices. The toughest choices, I should say. You have to have some discipline to get it down to 80. There are so many good white cards to choose from. I mean, good might be an overstatement, but man, they're scrappy. They can be tough to play against. On its surface, a card like Thalia or Stoneforge Mystic, it's not necessarily where I want to be, but the game starts going in their direction. It can be really difficult to swing it back unless you have the right cards and you're prepared for it. And those are not the right cards. Is that a full house? No, just 3 of a kind. You had 3 minor missteps, a Murktide, a Dothy. Absolutely not what you want against a board like that. No answers to what was on board, and that just was not going to work. Josh giving himself plenty of time to try and win game 3 here on the play. All live. Able to skip over the shuffling. Hopefully the process works pretty clearly. Cleanly, I should say. And Fatal Push takes out that Esper Sentinel. Josh is paying the 1, I should say. Not willing to let Jacob get that extra card. Got a Spirit of the Labyrinth. That's going to eat a Snuff Out. We could see a Death Shadow this turn. That Snuff Out getting rid of 4 life. Brainstorm. Dig. See some good stuff. Days can be very solid in this matchup. But probably would have liked another land. The precarious spot to be in. If Jacob does have a Wasteland, Josh could find himself totally locked out in back-to-back games. That is not how you want to go out. Oh, and there is the Wasteland. Does Jacob fire it off? No, he's going to use it to cast a Flicker Wisp, which gets dazed. That blue source protected for now. Josh able to Wasteland the opposing Wasteland while it's tapped. And a Death Shadow. Not entirely sure what the correct play was from the Death and Taxes perspective. I would be inclined to Wasteland there. Certainly seeing the hands would make you want to do that, but your opponent missing a land drop does feel like time for Wasteland. Now Recruiter of the Guard with a Rashad and Port. Josh, when he's stuck still on one land. Jacob can start porting this down every turn. This could be a real problem if he can answer this Death Shadow. Stoneforge Mystic was grabbed with the Recruiter. Oh, and now Mother of Runes. That's a really good card here. That can actually just block Death Shadow indefinitely. Josh has a pair of Snuffouts, though, so he can actually kill the Mother of Runes once it's become tapped. See how the handle. Oh, maybe it still had summoning. Snuff Out did take out the mom. Have Stoneforge Mystic. Gonna be able to grab Cauldra. Josh, though, down to just 5. Not the number you want to be at when you're facing down a potential Cauldra. Now, the Stoneforge Mystic has to get taken out. I believe he had another Snuff Out in hand, though. And a fun, close match here. Watch that middle game. Not exactly where you want to be, but love to see it go into 3. Two brothers battling it out here at an F&M. This might actually be a Wednesday Legacy. I'm not sure. See that on the screen. We do Legacy twice a week for those in the area looking to join the fun. Wednesdays and Fridays at 7. It's a couple of months. My intention to really grow our in-store play. I want to see things get back to our pre-pandemic numbers. Still hovering in terms of our player base. Check out Legacy. Definitely come down if you already play Legacy. I don't need to ask. This is the place to play. We have some of England's best, some of the best anywhere. And Jacob and Josh may be on their way to being in that category. Getting in a lot of games early is what it's all about. And the younger brother takes it down in 3.